try to do justice. Okay, I think I will ignore if some noise is there, and I will continue. Otherwise, it will be difficult. Okay, so actually, when you think of river, normally we always think river means water, and river is not just water. If you see all those things, and normally, if it would have been a more interactive session, I would have asked some of you to actually explain, and then actually, when people start thinking, lot of issues come, because once you identify river, then what exactly is the river, then you know how to find the solution to different problems. If we understand human body and different parts of the human body, then we also understand if a disease happens in one part, or if some trouble is there in one part, then what kind of solution will be there. So I think this is something which we have to keep in mind. First of all, river is something which flows. River is not just water, it's a system. When we say system, it's more than water, it's water plus. Water is certainly there in the river, perhaps most visible part, but it also has life in it. And many people say that river is also a living being. I mean, there are lots of scientists who have done research on that. And then perhaps if you come to think of it, it has a beginning, it has an end. It goes through a number of stations. So it's almost like a life. Like you start, there is a childhood, and you go towards this thing. And when initial years, the childhood and youth, you see a lot more energy there. So that's the case of any river, which is especially starting from the mountains. So if you see the Uttarakhand part, the river is very narrow, but it's full of energy. So I think that's the way. And then it becomes mature, it becomes wider. There's a lot more water coming into that. And as we are all very much aware, there are so many scriptures which talk about this river Ganga. The most famous is from the Gita, where the Lord himself says that among things that purify, I am the wind of the person who wields weapon, I am Rama. And among rivers, basically it says it's Ganga. So it's a kind of primary thing. Here, because we are going to talk about other rivers also, we all know there are many rivers. They are all called Ganga. I mean, there can be Dakshin Ganga, there could be all kinds of other name. Even right from historical days, people in south, people in west, they have been naming some of the water body also as a Ganga. This particular sloka which you see, it's very interesting, and this has found place in the report of IITs. There are 13 things. Ganga Punya Jalam Prapya Trayodasa Vivarjayet. Basically, it says that 13 things, right from scriptures, 13 things we should not do. And you will be really surprised. Many things we are scientifically, and we are in the modern time, we are struggling and telling people don't do it. But it was very much part of our culture at some point of time. Defecation, gargling, throwing of things, rubbish of filth, frolicking, etc., etc. There are so many things. Garments. I mean, in Varanasi, in various places, especially the religious places, we really struggle because people come and leave the old clothes. They leave lots of their old things from the house. They come and live in the thing. So I think that there are several things which we have to keep in mind. So there is a lot of traditional wisdom. I'm going to talk more, and then primarily I see lots of scientists here. So some of the traditional wisdom is also there. Uh, there are many slides which have a lot of details. Due to paucity of time, some of the things I will only talk about the essence and then maybe skip. But this one, let's keep in mind that why we talk of Ganga, because this basin is very important. We have more than almost half of the population of the country is in this basin. It contributes to our water resources, and it's also very rich in biodiversity. Next. Next, Jyoti. Uh, Here, if you look at, again, most of you are familiar with it, but we can divide this basin or this river into three parts: Upper Ganga, Middle Ganga, and Lower Ganga. And as we are aware, different parts have different challenges. When we come to Upper Ganga, it's a very beautiful part. It's almost a divine kind of thing. And what makes Ganga technically? Ganga is a kind of combination of several head streams. Like Bhagirathi comes from Gangotri glacier. So Bhagirathi is there, and Alaknanda. They meet at Dev Prayag. But Alaknanda river actually have 5 prayags. Prayag is confluence. Like we all know Prayagraj. Similarly, in the upper Ganga, you have got 5 prayags: Vishnu Prayag, Nanda Prayag, Rudra Prayag, Karna Prayag, and Dev Prayag. So these are the prayags. So basically, Alaknanda keeps on meeting different head streams and ultimately meets at Devprayag, the Bhagirathi, which comes from Gangotri, and then technically Ganga starts from there. So actually, all these head streams are part of Ganga. Without them, Ganga cannot be formed. So I think I am intentionally telling it because later on when I will talk about environmental flow, I will narrate that what kind of disputes came up. So please keep this in mind. They are not tributaries. They actually make Ganga. So they are actually much more important than any tributary. At this point of time, I will tell you. Um, no. Similarly, we have the middle Ganga where the problem is of different type. You have the real problem of abstraction, especially from Haridwar. And this is again, I think Professor Maria is there. IIT Roorkee is very much familiar with these things. The Thomson College of Engineering, right from British days, the Ganga irrigation system was developed, which kept on increasing. Upper, middle, and lower Ganga canals were developed. What was done at those point of time was appropriate, but later on with the increase in population, etc. So the real challenge of any river is abstraction, and Ganga it becomes very prominent in the middle Ganga part, where pollution increases and water becomes less. Water becomes more from Prayagraj downstream, and situation becomes better. But that is the kind of challenging area. In this also, if you see, I mean, we are all aware about these different causes of polluters, and this was the kind of situation in if you look at the top part of a smaller circle, we said that fecal coliform is a kind of problem, main challenge. Then the second, BOD, of course fecal coliform is a different kind of situation. Things have improved certainly in the meantime. If you see here, fecal coliform becomes a kind of challenge in the beyond Haridwar, almost up in the upper Himalayas and up to Haridwar also, with the recent lockdown and even before that. And Haridwar, we actually recently we also started all the STPs during the lockdown period. So that's also important because it's not only that nature can purify, but nature certainly can purify, but it needs some help, some infrastructure, because we have abused it so much. We will have to do something to really improve things. Water quality has been improving. In fact, just keep in mind, because often there is, the Ganga is so important that we always talk about it and we think it's most polluted. CPCB recently in 2018, they had actually identified the polluted stretches in the country, 351 polluted stretches, and categorized them into priority 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 means the most polluted. If you can see, BOD is more than 30 milligram per liter. So if you see, and right from 2018 now, you will find no stretch of Ganga in priority 1, 2, or 3. So actually what we are talking is very small increase in BOD beyond 3 milligram per liter. Based upon BOD, this categorization is over. So things have improved. I'm not saying that we have achieved all the results. I think we have a long way to go, but things are improving. Why I am emphasizing everywhere? Because if you are not optimistic, if you don't believe in it, and if you think that Ganga is beyond redemption, actually you are not going to move forward. And this has been proved by none other than nature itself. Now you see Ganga is in completely rejuvenated condition. So if science is right, if you do the right thing, if you stop polluting it, it will rejuvenate itself. Of course, flow is important. So this is a program. I think that's why this becomes an important case. Ganga becomes an important case because perhaps for no other river, this kind of scientific analysis was done. 2010, River Basin Management Plan, IIT Consortium was given a task to prepare this plan. And basin management plans are there, but this is very important because it brings into, apart from water sharing arrangements and water or the hydrology, it also looks into so many, almost all aspects, whether it's biodiversity or whether it's ecology. And primarily the vision, what's the vision? To restore wholesomeness of the river Ganga, and wholesomeness in the term of Aviral Dhara, continuous flow, Nirmal Dhara, unpolluted flow. And these two, these first two are generally quite a lot talked about. But perhaps we have to also look at geological entity. See, the river is not just water, it's not just aquatic life in this. It has lot of geological things. It has been formed over perhaps thousands and thousands of years. So we have to also respect and identify what exactly is the character of the river, its morphology, its geology, what kind of sand is there, what kind of a structure is there, cross section is there. So I think these are all very important. And similarly, ecology is of course more understood clearly. Flora, fauna, aquatic life, and so many other kinds of life is there in the river. So river is also a living, it carries a lot of living being with it. And that's why we have to look at all these four things when you are looking at a kind of framework. I won't get into the missions because we'll be covering most of it later. This slide is long slide. I will very briefly tell you. This is a kind of journey of our river management in the country. I mean, it's kind of brief history of river rejuvenation or river cleaning. Rejuvenation word started being talked about more in last, let's say, 7-8 years. Otherwise, it was always talked about cleaning. Even now, our name is National Mission for Clean Ganga. So you will realize it's actually much more than simply cleaning. Uh, Ganga Action Plan, it started with Ganga. Again, the history of river rejuvenation or river cleaning starts with Ganga in 85, 86 with the Ganga Action Plan. It was primarily a kind of approach of picking up few cities and trying to improve the sewerage infrastructure in those cities. That was the approach. It was extended and Ganga Action Plan 2 came, and then later on there was a lot of discussion that why only Ganga, why not we do look at all the rivers, and then NRCP, National River Conservation Plan, came into being, in which Ganga Action Plan 1 and 2 got merged in that, and then several other rivers were included. 41 rivers in the country got included, and 8 Ganga Basin rivers were part of NRCP. 2009 becomes an important 2009 and 2015. 2009 was the year where people started again thinking that perhaps Ganga has got neglected in this whole process of mixing up with all the rivers, and that kind of priority which was there in the 80s, early 90s is being lost. So a kind of basin approach was thought, and a kind of separate authority chaired by Prime Minister started in 2009. Then World Bank project came in 2011. That also brought little idea about how to manage a river. Then National Mission for Clean Ganga was set up as a kind of independent organization. 2015 becomes very important because 2014 it was announced. 2015 got the formal cabinet approval. This became for the first time a mission, which is, even now there is a lot of people think Namami Ganga means only Ganga river, but that's not correct. Actually, this is operationalizing the whole approach. So you will see later we are working on Yamuna, we are working on projects on Ram Ganga, Damodar, so many other rivers also projects are taking place. So what happens? All tributaries get included. Here, the previous efforts and then Namami Ganga efforts. I will not get too much into detail, but what is important.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello.
सर बाकी लोग को अनम्यूट कर दे सर, की आवाज नहीं आ रही है.
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
Sir, you are now mute.
म्यूट कर रहा है. आप दिखा, स्क्रीन दिखा दीजिए.
Hello, is it audible?
Sir, please unmute yourself. Please unmute.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Carry on,
I
sir.
think
Requesting everybody, please mute yourself, please.
No, what is happening, Vishwit? You are muting everyone. Then perhaps in between I am also getting muted, and then I don't realize, so I keep on speaking.
No, I am muting one by one, so sometimes it will go to you. Sorry, sir. Sorry. Anyway.
Okay. So I think I will just take from the previous slide also. You need not so. Primarily what I was saying, when we started in 2014-15, we actually tried to look at what went wrong or what was not so. I mean, how we could not achieve various results. And then as a result of that, we realized that a lot of STPs were constructed earlier also. please note, so far only cleaning has been in the agenda. So basically STP. Now, I mean, before this, it was primarily a program of construction of STP and treating the sewage. So I think we realized that the operation and maintenance has never been done, and many of those STPs were defunct when did that analysis. So in this program, one major thing which comes is we have included long-term O&M, 15-year operation and maintenance now. Initially, it was 10 years, 5 years, 10 years. So, but the O&M, operation and maintenance, is part of the project. So, anyone who will be constructing that STP is also responsible for operating it, maintaining it, and money is being provided through this mission. So, I think that we are trying to ensure, and we are also looking at the requirement of 2035, so that when what you construct does not become obsolete with 5 years. So I think it will be little extra capacity we are creating, and we are doing it. So funding has been taken care of. We also have been given a kind of assured funding so that we can plan out in a much bigger way, which was not possible. Earlier, our budget used to be something like 200 to 400 crore. That used to be the variable. Now the budget has been increased. Annual budget, I am telling, is around 2,000 to 3,000 crore. So I think it has gone, and that was NMCG being a kind of separate organization, the budget does not lapse. So if it is transferred to us, we can do the project management very nicely with that. Then focus is also upon PPP. I will not cover here because there will be a separate slide. And then it's not only urban program. Urbanization is important. Urban sector still takes most of the money out of our mission, but it's a comprehensive program, and it goes into afforestation, biodiversity, communication, rural sanitation, all those things. Next. This primarily I will tell you. Then in 2016, I think a major decision was taken to declare this mission as an authority under EP Act, giving it some regulatory powers as well. So this is one mission which has regulatory power as well as financial power. So, and then most of the sanctioning of projects were delegated to the executive committee. So earlier the process, I mean, this is a great example of simplification and rationalization of process. Normally it does not happen in government because people like to, no one likes to delegate so much, but the ministry level delegation is completely given to the mission, and there is an executive committee. So files do not go to so many ministries. Earlier it used to be the case, and that I can tell you is one of the reason in from 2017 onwards, almost 70% of the projects which you see have been sanctioned in last 3 years. So that was the result. And another important thing, please look, and this actually came like National Ganga Council is chaired by Prime Minister. So you can see it goes, NMCG is there in the middle, Empower Task Force is a group of ministers. Then it goes up to the district level. This is again first time that the district collectors or district Ganga committee has been created, because actually all the action happen on the district. Originally, we were looking at the UP Jal Nigam or KMDA or the Bihar Urban Development Corporation, these kind of things. So this is now getting into a kind of much bigger and much more synergy kind of thing. Next. I will like to look at river rejuvenation from these four broad categorization. I mean, this came up later on in our thinking. First, so many projects came. See, there are set of interventions, there are set of things you do for pollution abatement. Nirmal Ganga. You will have to do several things. There are several sources of pollution. You have to look at those sources, create some infrastructure, ensure that they are maintained, and also ensure that we don't pollute further. The simplest way of cleaning a river is just stop polluting it. I mean, that we have seen recently in the lockdown also. If you don't go and throw things, river will start looking clean. Second broad category comes ecology and flow, because only cleaning is not going to rejuvenate a river. You will have to look at its flow. Is the flow sufficient? We have lost so much of flow. How can bring back flow and ecology?
नेट में चल रहा है सुबह में करवा लो
And then also people river connect, and then there are lots of research, lots of policy decisions, and then how you manage all that. And basically, as I told you, the IIT's report, and IITs did not have only 5-6 IITs. There are several institutes, so their value, their evidence, their research, all those things brought. And next one. This I will not, there is no need. This just shows that what different kinds of projects are there. So we have got 315 projects with more than 28,900 crore value. So now I will spend few minutes on the pollution abatement, the Nirmal Ganga part of it. you can again have a look at it, and then perhaps so we are having 13 projects on the main stem. See what happens. I told you that we are looking at the basin, but initially we prioritize that we will start with the main Ganga, and then from 2017 2018 onwards mainly we have taken up several projects on the tributaries. So 39 projects are there on the major tributaries. So these works are going on next. Now where we are, I mean, as far as main Ganga is concerned, main stem of Ganga is concerned, what we did, instead of taking up from 5 towns, 20 towns in earlier mission, we did the survey of the entire stretch of Ganga, and we located that within 5 kilometers just on the river 97 towns are there. So we looked at that, what exactly is the requirement, how much is the sewage being generated from there, and then what is the capacity which is existing, whether they are really functional. So all those analysis were done in mostly in 2015-16, and then the projects were taken up. So we are now at a level where the present sewage generation 2,900 MLD is there. We have actually taken up projects previous 1 minute, Jyoti. So we have already created something like 2000 MLD capacity, and several other projects are in the process. Here this gives you a kind of indication about how these decisions have changed the scale. If you look at, we were having 28 projects in 2014, 28 projects, and the capacity was only 462 MLD. Now at this stage, we have added 124 more with 4000 MLD capacity. So not only the numbers have increased manifold, the projects are much bigger now, because this could happen because we were given a kind of autonomy. We were also given financial support. So in a very short period of time, project could be sanctioned and put on ground. Next. This is again a very important thing, and then this is becoming a kind of approach for other rivers now. We realize that we pay basically for construction in most of our mission or most of the projects. The hybrid annuity mode, this was a PPP mode was indicated, and what happens here, we are actually now bringing a kind of new doctrine where we are going to pay for the performance. I will just take half a minute to explain. So the concessionaire is given this work, we will be only paying him 40% of the capital cost during construction. Suppose it's 100 crore is the value of the project, and 2 years is the construction period. In 2 years, he will get 40 crore. 60 crore he will get in 15 years annuity. Of course, he will get interest. We did lot of jugglery to make it interesting and attractive for people to come, because we were creating a new market. This was for the first time, wastewater sector PPP was introduced. We did it in 2017. Performance linked 15-year annuity is there. So what happens, he actually puts his money into the project. 60% he initially puts, he takes loan or whatever, and he puts his money. Now if he does not do good quality work, he will not get payment of his annuity, because we will be looking for the performance. If the STP is not meeting the standards, he does not get his payment, he may get penalty. So the contractor or the concessionaire will be very cautious in actually execution of the project, also running of it. So I think this is a kind of change we did. And then later on, we also thought that in one city, there are so many STPs. Why don't we improve governance and bring them together, consolidate? So we have also in hybridity, we also said that we will have a project, a concessionaire, like in Prayagraj, in Kanpur, in Patna, part of Patna, some part in Havra also we are trying to do it. So we are actually saying that the one concessionaire will repair the previous STP. If there is any need to repair, he will repair. If there is, and then operate and maintain the old assets. Also create new STP. Whatever is the gap existing, they will create that extra, the new STP. And then the same agency will be responsible and accountable for running of the entire sewerage infrastructure in the city. Again, not very easy thing to convince the states. There were a lot of protests. It was very difficult to get the records, documents, and all that. But now we are through it, and then many projects on this model is now under implementation. As I told you, in Kanpur, Prayag, and several things. Here are some of the photos. Some of you may be already aware about some of the major notorious nalas. Almost 100, more than 90 such drains have been tapped in last 3-4 years. And the sewage which was just getting into these nalas, which were just getting into the river, have been stopped. But again, we are still left with many drains, and there is a plan to work on all of them. These are some of these photographs of some of the new STPs which have got. Again, an understanding is reuse and recycle of treated waste. It's very important that we don't treat them as a wastewater. After treatment, there can be so many uses, and we must find those uses, because that will help us in saving lot of water from fresh water from river. So in Mathura, we have got a project where actually 20 mld of treated wastewater is now being sold to Indian Oil Corporation, IOC Mathura Refinery. So they are constructing a tertiary treatment plant for their purpose, and then they are going to share the cost of O&M. So I think we had an MOU, and we developed a framework of these kind of sharing of revenue and sharing of cost, and then trying to sell this water. Uh, Again, I think there is some problem of audio. Some of you are perhaps, are you people able to hear?
Yes, sir. Absolutely fine.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So I think in the reuse, we are making lot of headway, but we have a long way to go. What we are trying to do, reuse of water not only in the wastewater sector, but also in industry. And states have to come up with a kind of policy. Some policy decisions have come, like the power ministry at the government of India level have decided that within 50 kilometer of an STP, within 50 kilometer of a power plant, if any STP is there, they will be actually taking treated wastewater only for their requirement. They won't use fresh water. Several MOUs have been done, and then I hope that some progress, actual progress, will start doing that. Several industries, I think we must move for a doctrine where industries primarily use and recycle and reuse the water and reduce fresh water. And all, so if you look at the industrial pollution abatement, here our strategy has been all along Ganga. We actually, first of all, we try to again collect evidence, get all the inventory of various grossly polluting industries along Ganga, and then we set up a system of for last 3 years, system of inspection of these industry by third party institutions, IITs, NITs. These kind of institutes have been given the job of every year we go, these institutes go and do a detailed inspection of these industries. Things have improved. I mean, on record, compliance of these industries are improving, more fines, more enforcement has happened. But let me tell you, the lockdown has very clearly shown that perhaps we need to do more in this. Because when the industries were closed, the water quality certainly improved. See, the sewage generation did not stop. People lived in the cities, so sewage generation actually, we monitored the functioning of STP. In fact, we treated more sewage during this lockdown period, because perhaps that kind of care and close monitoring, most of the STPs functioned much better during this period, and they were insured. So the only factor which perhaps changed was industrial waste and solid waste. People did not go on the bank and make it dirty, and industries were closed. So I think industrial pollution, we have the basic approach is to improve technology, go for greener technology, generate less waste. Paper and pulp industry, we have done a charter and there is some improvement. Kanpur Tannery's new common effluent treatment plant. Kanpur Tannery is a symbol of pollution. Sisa Munala and Kanpur Tannery. So new CETP, which was pending for 15-20 years, that work has started. Lots of problems are there, but yes, now finally that work has started. Solid waste is something which is a kind of local problem, and it's very difficult from a government of India mission or a central mission to do much headway. That's why we are doing a strategy that on the ghats and all that, we have sanctioned some projects for ghat cleaning in some of the major ghats cleaning or surface cleaning. But we also put a kind of regulation that within 1 kilometer, all the nalas, they must put all the drains, they must put a kind of a screen and then have a regular cleaning of the screen. Some improvement has happened, because when we had recently a kind of rafting expedition, we could see that not much floating plastic was there. The same team, some of the members of team, they had gone 3 years back also, so they could compare and say yes, it is less in the main river. But this is something where a lot more has to be done. uh, we have processing capacity of solid waste is very less in Ganga towns. It's, I mean, the compared to the generation of solid waste, what we are processing, what the ULVs are processing, what the state governments are processing is roughly around 1/3 only. So I think that there is a lot to be done in improving solid waste management. Similarly, we took under Namami Gange, we through drinking water and sanitation Swachh Bharat mission, that at least this 4,000 plus Ganga Bank villages, you give priority and then make them ODF earlier. Like last year, most of the entire country was declared ODF, whereas these Ganga villages, this was achieved much earlier in 2018, 2017, 18 itself. Now we are actually doing focus upon solid liquid waste management of the village also, because some of the major villages, if that is also a problem, and some local solutions, local plants, etc. should be done. So I think that that's something which is happening. So this gives you a kind of idea of different sources of pollution. One source of pollution, which to some extent I will cover in the ecology and flow, is surface runoff, non-point source pollution. We have lot to do. We have lot to do research also in assessment of non-point pollution load. We have lots of data on point source of pollution like industry, like sewage, etc. But this is something important. So when we come to ecology and flow, primarily no river is a river unless there is a flow. You cannot take away all the water from the river and tell river to flow or and to work like a river. So that's why what's important is ecological flow. There has been a lot of research on that. IIT report also gave us certain idea. We made some expert committee, and 2018 for the first time e-flow was notified for river Ganga. Now here, when the e-flow was notified, primarily it affects the hydroelectric projects. As I told you, there are several head streams in the Uttarakhand area, and there are several hydroelectric projects. So what we said, for different period, lean season and dry season, all those things, some 20% to 30% e-flow notification was given. Why I am saying it's so important, because for the first time in principle we have accepted the right of the river over its own water by giving right to the river to retain some minimum water. What we have notified is minimum. Many people say it is too much, many people say it is too less, but a beginning has been made. We are now scientifically assessing the what should be the e-flow for Yamuna and Ram Ganga with the help of IITs, WWF and several other things. So this is a kind of new regime. Reuse and recycling will also be so. Rainwater harvesting is another important area, and then conserving of this thing. What is very important is improving our demand. I mean, water conservation.
Please send PPT, sir.
Next. So, in our plan of action, wetland mapping, wetland conservation plays an important role, and especially the wetlands in the floodplains. Groundwater recharge, wetland helps us in many ways. It helps in groundwater recharge. It also helps in improving biodiversity. It also helps in reducing pollution because of various factors. So we are actually for UP. 226 wetlands are there within 10 kilometers of the river. So integrated management plan conservation program has started. Similarly, we want to do it in all the states. Lot of regulatory things have to be done. Wetland authorities have to be made active. So all those things have to be done in this. Floodplain is very important. Now we don't understand floodplain. Unfortunately, we really do not respect floodplain. We go and encroach. Several, even public institutions are guilty of encroaching floodplains and constructing. See, the floodplain has so much of role to play in improving groundwater recharge. Actually, when there is a lean season for the river, that floodplain, whatever the groundwater recharge it does, it helps in the base flow. So we are actually trying to have a kind of demarcation of floodplain. Later on, I will tell you with some of the mapping exercise which we are doing, and so at least we will demarcate this floodplain, and then some sort of regulation will be done. Recently, some of the real estate projects, etc., also have been stopped by NGT based upon our recommendation that they are constructing in the floodplain. So idea is anyway, lot of construction has gone. At least in future, if we can restore, we can save the floodplain, it will really bring life back into the river. Number one. Number two, municipal towns, they also have a tendency to go and dump all the garbage in the floodplain. No one will protest. If you go and dump anywhere else, the neighborhood and others protest. So I think there are a lot of legacy dams. So we are actually trying to get those legacy dams shifted from the floodplain and also see that the ULBs do not dump there. It's a long way to go. I know several cases come, sometimes we punish people, sometimes we take action, but slowly that thing is setting up, and this will be a very, very important thing in the long run for the rejuvenation of river. For the first time, we actually did a kind of survey through Forest Research Institute about the what kind of native forest is there along Ganga. Again, that's very important. Any river, see, the nature has certain native fauna, and you cannot replace it with some exotic variety. You have to actually understand that why this has been there since thousands of years. So I think FRI helped us in making a kind of DPR detailed plan, and forestry work has started as per that. We are also trying to involve community into this forestry, and also some program of improving livelihood of some of these community workers. Some training, some skill thing is there, so that they get interest into this. Aqua life, fishery research, there are several things which is happening. Forestry also is becoming a kind of community participation forestry plus technical forestry. So as per DPR plus, we are also encouraging several other institutions to take up forest. This is again very important, because who will say the river is healthy? The most authentic proof that river health is improving is the biodiversity, the aquatic life. If the fishes are happy, if a dolphin is happy, you must know, you can conclude that the river water quality has improved. So, but we didn't have even a baseline that what are the different kinds of species, in which area what species is there. So with the help of Wildlife Institute of India, a very scientific mapping of the entire length of Ganga has been done. Still, Ganga is hosting huge and healthy quantity of biodiversity. So we have to maintain it like that, and wherever we have lost biodiversity with the areas, there we have to improve. So with that, you see so many things, centers, etc. have been done. We also have developed a kind of rescue and rehabilitation centers along Ganga, where some of the injured animals are treated and again put back in the river. Certain breeding centers are also there for crocodiles, gharial, and all that. What is most important here is Ganga Prahari. We are trying to develop a cadre of Ganga Prahari community workers, but we train them. I mean, they have been given good training by WI and other experts, and several of them have really got so motivated that on their own they are now trying to propagate this idea. Not only WII, I have mentioned CI CIFRI. In Bairakpur, we have got Central Inland Fishery Research Institute, so that is doing a project for us, mapping again fishery resource. And whatever we are doing, all of them are GIS database. So I think whether it is WII or CIFRI, so that we can ultimately merge all of them and create a very good database for different things. Uh, Agriculture. Often it's very simple to understand that agriculture needs water. So we need river for agriculture. But river also needs certain agricultural practices to improve its own health. So here we are basically looking at, I mean, the kind of agriculture runoff. So I think non-point source pollution, trying to move towards organic farming. So that's one thing. Riverbed agriculture must be organic. So we are working on these things. And then water utilization. Maximum water, 85% goes for agriculture. So unless you improve your efficiency, water efficiency, it is very difficult to, it's really very difficult to save water and improve flow in the river. So I think that's an important plan. Downstream, I think we have given some examples. We have taken up certain pilot projects on a quite a large scale in Uttar Pradesh on medicinal plantation, and Uttarakhand also. Similarly, some sort of organic farming medicinal plantation corridor. Recently, there were certain announcement in Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan by the finance minister. In that also, these things have gone there. So our job is little easy, because it has reached a different level, and then all these things have been accepted. With the corporate help, we have taken up some Rudraksh plantation. These are all some few examples. So primarily, we have to go for little more ecosystem approach in the agriculture, save the soil, keep the fertility of the soil, go for more natural farming, go for more organic farming in that area, and save water. Water conservation is the important thing. In the long run, flow will improve only when we start reducing abstraction of water from the river. So I think we have taken up this also in a big way. Next. Very briefly, I will tell you, I told about basin approach. We started on priority on the mainstem, but Ganga cannot be cleaned unless tributaries are also clean. So we have taken up projects on the tributaries. tributaries are also major river. Yamuna is a big river. Damodar is a big river. Ram Ganga is a big river. Kali is a big river. But in every district, if you go and see, this is like a whole ecosystem, a whole system of rivers. There are small rivers, 40-kilometer long, 30-kilometer long, 100-kilometer long. These rivers are also very important, and most of them, many of them are in a bad condition. So we are trying to develop a kind of database and then help the districts. So all the districts along Ganga we have taken in the first priority, and we have written to the district administration about with some technical details. And in the Manrega, this will be a kind of top priority item, one of the priority item to rejuvenate rivers, and we will be giving some technical help, and we'll need help from many of the scientific and technical institutions. Some of you who are present, you will also work on this, but this is a kind of going to be scaled up, and this is our future plan to rural development secretary, rural development ministry, our ministry. They all have agreed that this will be a priority, this plus wetland and water body. Okay, I got muted. I unmuted myself. I hope I am audible. Then see what happens. You can do all these things with government money and with the help of other departments. But unless people get connected with it, unless they feel that they must help this river, all these things will have limited effectiveness. And that's why we have lot of emphasis upon this. And there are several activities. And most important thing is basically school and college students, younger group, youth. If we can convert them, if we can convince them, perhaps we will be making our futures secure. Next. So see, one of the activity like Ghat, improvement of Ghat, and actually even before Namami Gange and NGRB also, Bengal was one state where lots of Ghat improvement works were taken up. Now all along river, we have actually improved several ghats, either renovated or constructed new ghats. Now sometimes people feel that whether the Ganga will get clean up by construction of ghats. It may not directly, but what happens? We all have a tendency to make a place dirty. If the ghat is dirty, if it is not proper, then we also actually don't change our behavior. So actually, it's a kind of connecting. If you give good amenity, sanitation, and also try to influence people to maintain it properly, it helps. So here you can see several ghats. Patna, we have got a riverfront. 16 ghats have been. There is a promenade, and you can see now people go there for walk. They move around. Actually, several of these ghats have become a kind of public place, much needed in an urban setting. And the morning walk, yoga, all kinds of things. People have started using these ghats. So that's a kind of connect is improving. This basically to show that we are working at several levels to engage stakeholders. See, Ganga Vichar Manch is a kind of group of people who are individuals with some ideology, some commitment for the river. They help. We have for the first time for any river, ex-servicemen have been 1 battalion of ex-servicemen are actually working in UP in Varanasi, Kanpur, and Prayagraj, and some of the eco task force in also in the upper reaches of Himalayas, difficult areas for plantation purpose. So they are part of us. Wildlife Institute of India, we have a very innovative program of Ganga Prahari. Now some of the school children, we have started calling them Bal Ganga Prahari with little bit of exposure, and some of the even people who are NRIs or outside, they are also joining. NCC, NSS, you know. NYK is actually doing very good work in this process. And very recently, this the latest to join is science clubs, Vigyan Prasar. I saw some of the people from this group also was attending this conference. So very recently they have joined this network. I really welcome them to this Namami Gange mission, and then they are here. Some of the community organizations, NGOs, are trained people in the BHU. They have been trained. So I think this is kind of network we are increasing, and there is place for more to join because work is so much. What we are doing in Ganga has to be done in other rivers. We have started this WI program for the entire Ganga basin, and now I am also working to develop it for some of the other major rivers like Kaveri, Godavari, etc. Next. These are some of the glimpses of that kind of activities where you can involve Ganga Utsav. There actually some sort of sports and games. Through that, actually, you teach some of the ecological things, quizzes, cultural programs, several things. Next. This was last year we organized right from Devprayag to Ganga Sagar. Professor Maria was there with us in Devprayag. So this was a very big exercise of 35 days, going around, meeting people in the evening, especially interacting with the youth, and generated so much of interest in the whole thing. The team was also consisting of some scientists were also there apart from the army and then NDRF people. Next. Similarly, various kind of these kind of run, these kind of marathons, all these things are also being organized in at different times. And very recently, we just concluded, and I must thank. There are many people in this group who also helped us in improving participation, and it was so good that this was a quiz, online quiz, because during COVID, as you are doing a digital platform and learning exercise, as you are doing from SciArt side, we thought that let's engage the young people, students, and this was not limited to young people. Anyone could have participated, and we had more than 11 lakhs people participating in this quiz, and more than 1 lakh schools got participation into this quiz program. So this way, and I was so happy to see, if you, I mean, the anthem we could not show, but there was in that anthem, Ganga anthem, they also saw some sort of dances from south. The people from South India, so many people participated. In fact, the numbers are really very huge outside Ganga Basin. Ganga Basin, anyway, the people participated. But in this quiz, each and every nook and corner of the country, people participated. That shows how much people have interest in the river and River Ganga. Some people, I mean, on pilot basis, some of the people from out of India also participated. They were allowed. So I think we announced the winners on the Environment Day, 5th June. So that's so. Next. Then similarly, I mean, Ganga still is in a much better shape because there is lot of very strong connect of people exists, and then people anyway value it. Yamuna in Delhi, not entire Yamuna. Entire Yamuna is also in good shape, but Yamuna in Delhi is in perhaps really very, very bad situation. If you ask anyone in Delhi that where is this ghat, people don't even know the location of the ghats of the Yamuna. I mean, that kind of disconnect has happened. We have started some of these programs with our own employees in the beginning, and then I'm really very happy. So many NGOs. One of the NGO which actually helped us, the Tree Craze Foundation in Ganga Quest. In fact, every week they adopted a ghat, and every week they used to go. Even with 5 people, they used to go and clean up that ghat. And slowly, many people joined in Delhi. If you can bring people in Delhi, it can be done anywhere because it's such a place. It's not very easy to bring people together and then make them work on the ghats. Of course, now with the corona and before that some other kind of disturbances, these things are not happening, but we did it very regularly for almost 1 year in Delhi also, and then Ganga, of course, many places it happens. Next. Tree plantation, these kind of programs are happening. Nehru Yuvak Kendra is there in now every district, and they are actually helping us in a big way. Uh, through NYK, we have got now 20,000 Ganga Doots, more than 20,000 Ganga Doots, common people. So I think that kind of outreach is now happening in last one and a half year. Next. And then the fourth quarter, perhaps something which is of more direct interest to many of you because you are from the scientific, several of you are from the scientific community. Next, this is one program where actually we are giving lot of emphasis. In fact, when Namami Gange cabinet approval had come, Science and Technology Ministry was one ministry which appreciated us that there is so much of provision to do research, science and technology thing. So we also have a provision of Ganga Knowledge Center and evidence-based these kind of things. Okay. Water quality monitoring, one area I will be just touching, flagging of these areas. Uh, Real-time water quality monitoring we have introduced in the country in Ganga, and
Very
recently
nice presentation, sir.
also we have done. Again, this needs lot of scientific stabilizing. The lot of initial problems are there in stability of those data, but we have set up a thing, and our vision is that ultimately in next few years, most of the major rivers we should have the real-time water quality monitoring to really look at. This is a very interesting project. We talked about floodplain, we talked about pollution, we talked about different drains coming. So we actually have a vision of developing a very high resolution through LIDAR, DEM, a kind of GIS mapping of the river. So 10 kilometer both side of the river, we are actually doing it with the help of Survey of India. And you see some of these, this work is actually going on during lockdown. We got a special permission, and then this work is going on because we wanted to do maximum work before rainy season. So this work very much is going on from last 2 months. What happened, this was such a large program, Survey of India, or for this kind of GIS ready database was not done in the country. We actually set up, I mean, you will be surprised, there is a lot of saving in this, because of competition, several private parties, the like the computers, the cost of computer decreased. Same way, this also cost has come down, because for the first time 45,000 square kilometer mapping is going on. This will give us the entire drainage map. It will help us in DPR preparation and project monitoring, even floodplain demarcation, etc. So I think this will be very scientific way of establishing. And Survey of India is a very authentic organization. It will be even stand in the court of law. Similarly, with the help of NEERI, we have taken up one program. For first, we took up a program for establishing, analyzing what is the special quality of water in the river Ganga. We all know, I mean, historical evidence is also there. So the bacteriophage and some of those things they did, they have also done it for Yamuna and Narmada to see the difference. And then the quantity of bacteriophage which is present, not only in the upper reaches, it's in some level it is present in the entire river. Further research is going on. Similarly, we are also doing, like we did the mapping for the entire river stretch, we are doing a microbial diversity mapping also with the help of NEERI, and several other institutes are partnered with that, including All India Institute of Medical Sciences is also helping us in Delhi. So several institutes, a kind of set of things are there. Spring rejuvenation, Professor Maurya is part of this conference. So he is from IIT Roorkee. He is helping us in this. But we have also done with the Central Groundwater Board and Survey of India about mapping of the springs, sources of springs, etc. So this will be again very important for Uttarakhand. Niti Aayog has also appreciated it, and actually they are looking at a much bigger exercise for all entire Himalayan springs. So what we do in some of these projects will be a kind of pilot based upon which a much larger program in the country will come up for spring rejuvenation. Next. Similarly, this is again a very interesting project. See, many of us, common people or even well-educated people, we feel we don't understand groundwater so much because we don't see it. We think we can keep on digging bore and we can keep on getting water. Unlike the telephone where you will say your battery is low and you have to recharge, we don't know. So I think this aquifer and especially the link of groundwater with surface water is very important. So we have also started, and this is a very interesting project. We are trying to do a kind of survey of Paleo channel in Kosambi. Kosambi is near Prayagraj. Kosambi Kanpur stretch. And NGRI is helping us for this aquifer mapping. So we have started this project very recently and hope this will give us very interesting finding. So it looks as if a kind of a very huge water channel is underground between Ganga and Yamuna. So initially this was traced in the initial survey. So we have now launched a kind of full survey and investigation of this. Next. Then climate scenario, we all know there is not much time to do, but the help of IIT Delhi and some other institutions, we are trying to develop a kind of scenario, very long-term scenario, mid-century and end of the century. What kind of impact it will have upon the basin water availability and then the hydrology. So that has been taken up. One very interesting thing about socio-cultural thing I will tell you, with the help of INTACT, we are trying to build up a kind of cultural mapping of the entire river. Though it is culture and science, but actually that mapping will also be GIS enabled. So we are looking at the natural heritage. See, the river has lots of beautiful natural heritage, wetlands, oxbow lakes, so many things are there, plus built heritage, forts, ghats. There are so many palaces, libraries. I mean, so we are actually district by district, actually all over Ganga, we are developing this map. And this also has a lot of intangible heritage, poems, music. So we are trying to develop a kind of good knowledge base of the cultural thing. And then I will tell you that will help us. We have got more than 80 archaeological sites monitored by Archaeological Survey of India. State archaeology also monitors hundreds of them. So I think, but we have to bring them at one place and see how people can be told about it, and their link with the river and its beauty and its culture can be further strengthened. So that's one project which which is almost halfway through. Very quickly, I will tell you. See, we told you about ONM, 15 years STP, but ultimately we all know we are urbanizing. We are urbanizing very fast, and then we know the problems of urbanization. Unfortunately, in India, several cities are urbanizing without much plan. I mean, no much better plan. Even if urban plans are there, master plans are there, they do not look at water body or the river in a very good. Do not give so much of importance. So we are actually doing, and in fact, we had a National Ganga Council meeting chaired by Prime Minister a few months back, and he also actually referred that we must plan in a different way for the river cities. Take the case of Bengal. We have got so many ULV just on the bank of river continuously. I mean, you don't see much difference between one town to other town. Should we not look at a kind of length of 10-20 kilometers, look at all the towns and see what they are doing to the river and what they are getting from the river, what they are giving to the river? Kanpur, we have started a pilot on Kanpur for this, that how we can do it next. So again, these slides I will try to make it available. We can also put it on our NMCG website. So those who I see a lot of requests coming for the slides, so I will put it there so that you can download. There are several factors, ecological, generic parameters. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to look at the master plans and compare some international master plans. Like other day in one webinar, Los Angeles River Master Plan, Los Angeles River Master Plan authorities were there. So what is the international experience? How they actually include river planning into urban planning. So a kind of urban river management plan framework is taking place, and you can see several parameters are there. Based upon that, we have already come up with one book we'll be releasing shortly about what is the status of master plan in Ganga towns and non-Ganga basin, some of the urban planning, and we are trying to actually bring these things in the long-term perspective. Because unless you plan for the water body, new peri-urban area, new township will come, and they will throw ultimately that sewage. Even if we have cleared all the sewage treatment plants, new plant will come and they will not do sufficient work at their level. So I think it's very important in the long run to integrate river rejuvenation as part of urban planning. So we have started advocating that particular thing, and this is an idea. Again, if you look at, see, river is very important ecologically. River is also very important economically. But how many of us value it? See, the livelihood of people depend, food security, water security, all of them depend upon this river. So an action plan is being prepared to basically link economic development with the rejuvenation of the river. Also do something. It cannot be done by NMCG. It is a much bigger exercise. It's a much bigger exercise in which various other ministries are also there. And recently a committee had been constituted only last week, chaired by Vice Chairman Niti Aayog. Our ministry is Vice Chairman in the Jal Shakti Minister. And then some other ministers are there and some secretaries are there. Agriculture will play a major role. So idea is in different sector. I told you about the cultural mapping. What kind of tourism, what kind of culture? If we have data, we can plan out. We can look at sustainable agriculture. I told you, medicinal plantation, how they can also become a source of earning. What kind of market is required? Wetland rejuvenation. Wetlands can also become a very good tourist spot. Inland waterways, again we have to be cautious. Inland waterways will bring improve economy, but we also have to be cautious about biodiversity. So I think this is a kind of much bigger long term perspective is being thought of, and very recently a committee has been constituted. I am convener of that committee, and then we are working with some of the institutions. Some of the expert institutions would be identified for this, maybe a consortium of institutions, because it's really multi-sectoral. And then we would be developing that thing next. As I told you, now coming to all other last two slides, similar river rejuvenation program for other rivers, Yamuna we are already doing. President in his speech last year, he noted Yamuna, Periyar, Kaveri, Godavari, Narmada and Mahanadi. Some more rivers will also be included. So we are trying to, based upon these experiences, we are trying to develop a kind of action plan, and NRCP, which is continuing for other than Ganga basin rivers, that needs to be restructured, that needs to be revamped, because they neither have that structure to take decisions quickly, no delegation, nor they have financial support. So we are now, I'm working to develop a kind of similar empowered structure for the other rivers, and then similar kind of thing. Tamil Nadu already, like Tamil Nadu government people came and worked with us. So they have launched a kind of program, something very similar to Namami Gange for Kaveri. Nadantai Vaji they call. I cannot pronounce it correctly. So I think these kind of things have started. And then similarly with the help of WII, we are trying to do a kind of biodiversity survey for some of these rivers also other than Ganga Basin. So all these things have started. Next. And as I told you earlier also, now if you look at the entire 2,500 kilometer long stretch, the dissolved oxygen parameter is met throughout. BOD is improving in most of the places. And as I told you, our polluted stretch survey of CPCB, we are now in the priority 5 in Ganga. Ganga dolphin and so many other biodiversity also increasing, ecological flow. So many things have happened. What has happened? We have also learned during the process. River rejuvenation as a subject needs to be included in the curriculum. Perhaps it's a very multidisciplinary subject. We have to look at future, and then as we go for the other rivers in the basin, as I just told you, small rivers, and then also going for the beyond Ganga basin, other rivers also. In the meantime, let me share with you the National Green Tribunal, Honorable Green Tribunal has also been pursuing these things very vigorously, and we are really thankful because they have put a kind of pressure upon every state to create a river rejuvenation committee chaired by Chief Secretary or any other senior officers. And whatever I told you, many of these components are now part of the NGT order. They have to look at e-flow for the river. They have to look at biodiversity profile of the river. They have to look at STP. They have to look at industrial pollution. Almost all these components are also now part of the NGT order. So that's a very good thing because that will also be a kind of, we will be getting a mandate to pursue it with states and then develop this kind of thing. So, but everything is possible if people collaborate. And my take has been always we need more partners. We need support of more stakeholders. So that's why if you look at all these projects, you would have seen so many institutes are working with us. Common people are also working, and then we have to basically say that बहुत कुछ हुआ है, but बहुत कुछ होना है. So I know we have done something. We have perhaps we are moving in the right direction. That much signals we are getting, that much symbols we are getting from the nature. But we must understand it's a very long-term process, and then it's never complete. People in the international Rhine and those who have done so much of work just for Rhine, they invested more than $40 billion, 40 billion euro only for STPs. Compared to that, our budget and our investments
Nice
are
talk, sir. Nice talk.
but we are saying these kind of things. So I thank all of you, and I will request you to follow or look at our Namami Gange page. A lot of new things you can find out. You can also join some of our efforts. I will be very happy. And this presentation, maybe I will request Besudit to share. Otherwise, anyway, I will put it on our National Mission for Clean Ganga website so that you can perhaps download from there, so that you can all get it. And thank you. I think it has been a little long talk, but if you are still having some interest and energy, then perhaps I am there to discuss with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Nice
sir.
presentation, and thank you so much, sir. You are very well information and presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Your talk is very nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I expect it is an unexpected.
It was very nice presentation.
Yeah, I am
Thank you.
completely locked down to hear
so
the
much.
lecture of Dr. Rajiv Ranjan sir. Mr. Sir, sir, many thanks to you.
Thank you very much, sir.
For delivering wonderful lecture on not only about the river rejuvenation as well as the efforts which your department has taken since its formation, and the lots of activities. I know personally, I know that you have taken a lots of pressures and lots of activities to rejuvenate our Ganga, because as a geographer, my subject is geography also. So as a geographer, we know that physically the rejuvenation meaning is different, and whenever we in the practical field, the rejuvenation meaning is completely different. So even I would like to share to the participants, if you have any queries, if you have any questions, you may ask to our Mishra ji, as well as I have already sent our feedback form. I have in the chat box to you. I would request to everybody, please fill up this form and send back to us. This is the Google form. You just fill up it through your mobile also or laptop. So now this is the discussion forum. So anybody, if only wants to ask any question,
Sir,
please raise your hand.
sir, I, I,
Excuse
I have a question to.
yeah.
I have a question to Mr. Sir. The policies that have been implemented by the government of India with collaboration with other nodal agencies. What are the policies as a community member that we should play, since you have elaborately discussed on this slide protecting the low-lying area or flood area? Since MD and REGA can be implemented by in the river bank, so implement in our places those who stays in the low-lying area and joining the river beds. How we can help them out, and how we can think about their empowerment, and what are the policies of the government?
Okay. I couldn't hear properly, but perhaps what you are saying is this is relating to floodplain, and those who are living close to it or low-lying area, what kind of policy, what kind of guidelines should be there to do it. See, I mean that when we were declared an authority, that authority order, you can also have a look at it. It's on our website. It actually lays down a lot of policy, a lot of guidelines about what should happen in the floodplain. Now, if you are living in the urban area, I will just divide. If you are living in the urban area, the major problem to the floodplain is by encroachment for sometimes housing, sometimes for commercial purpose. Sometimes encroachers are poor people, sometimes encroachers are rich real estate developers also. So I think that is where, I mean, our policies have to be a little different. First of all, people have to know that they should not come here. So some sort of survey demarcations should be there. So, and the community. Sometimes what you can do is, if something like this is happening, you can actually give some message, some information, etc. So that the rules are there, but implementation is not very easy. Human elements are also there. In case of rural area, primarily the enforcement of floodplain is for agriculture. That is not so bad also, though actually certain area agriculture should also not happen. So that the policy there should be that even if for a season you take, because traditions are also there, river farming also takes place. So I think that farming should be done with the organic, it should be organic farming. So you should not use chemicals, etc. That's a kind of policy. National Ganga Council has actually set up this, and then we are moving on that to make it little more clear from the agriculture side. But construction in low-lying area and floodplain is a major problem. That's why when you say that the urban river management plan, that policy or that document which we are doing, that will help us in planning for the city. See, certain area we have already lost, but at least the future areas we must be very clear that we should not construct. I have been SDM, I have worked in the districts. There are many cases when flood comes, fellows have actually constructed in the floodplain, in the riverbed almost. And then every time their houses will get damaged, and then the government pays them compensation. It's a human thing. You have to save their life. But actually, we should do something that people don't go and live in such kind of dangerous situation. And it is a problem for them. It's a problem for the river also.
Hello, Dr. Biswajit.
Yes, sir.
I would like to make a comment.
Sir, this is Dr. Lalit Bharsne, sir, from Bhabha Atomic Research Center. So, sir, please.
Yeah, I would like to add to the talk of Dr. Mishra that our department in 2019 started a plant, radiation plant, which converts sewage sludge. I think sludge is also very important while treating the sewage generated in large cities. But often the sludge is not looked into. And about 300 mld treatment sewage and contains heavy metals and other contaminants. So now department has set up a plant in Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation
Okay.
which converts this 100-ton sludge every day into a manure.
Hmm.
And it is being utilized every day. And the second plant is coming up in Indore, which will be ready by this year end. So this is the first time in the whole world that this kind of technology is being used to convert sewage sludge into manure, and this may become an economic activity and can be self-sustaining with time. The treatment cost comes around 1 rupee, and project cost is around 20 crore rupees. So the municipality and Bhabha Atomic Research Center have joined hand, and they have made this facility now operational in Ahmedabad and in Indore also. We have also contacted Delhi Jal Board, where Delhi is treat about 2000 MLD every day. So this is what I just wanted to let Dr. Mishra know. If he wants, he can visit this Ahmedabad facility, and this could be a good technology for Namami Gange mission, where the sewage, you are putting several sewage treatment plant, but nobody looks at the sludge that finally goes somehow into water or the agriculture land. So this is also a very important point. And if you wish, you can get details from me or from the department. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Barsne. Actually, when that slide on the reuse, it also had something on sludge, but I was basically talking about treated wastewater. But you are absolutely right. People actually neglect, and some very ad hoc way of sludge handling takes place. So, in fact, last few months, in fact, this work suggestion, we were having some discussion with Delhi Jal Board people very recently, few days back. So this came that BARC is actually doing that, and then I'm so happy that you have also mentioned. We also have got some plants near Delhi where actually they are making some bricks out of the sludge. So our team actually visited that also recently, and then we are trying to work out. So many of these Habitat project thing, we are actually putting the reuse of the sludge, etc. And then we are all these concessionaire, we are actually trying to tell them to go and have a look at these things. Certainly our team, and we will like to know more about this BARC technology and this also. In fact, there was a professor from IIT Bombay also some time back. He also came and basically not only for sludge, even for the wastewater treatment and all that, he was talking about some Japanese technology, basically radiation technology only. So our R&D being actually last few months, we are actually quite on the sludge related solutions, and it will be really very useful to interact more in depth, and then perhaps various projects are going on. Make some sort. I will try to make a kind of a small working group from my mission plus states and some of your experts to really make it into a policy.
I would request you to please visit this Ahmedabad facility.
Yes.
And first-hand knowledge will be always helpful.
We will see that visit. Ahmedabad visit is pending for so many things. From some of the space appliances center, we have something on Wetland to do, but somehow last 3 months no visit, no one is going anywhere. So we are, otherwise we would have very quickly gone there.
Yeah, I am in Bombay, and last 2 months I have not got down on the road. I am in sitting at home locked.
So right now I will go to the Dr. Shubhadeep Gupta. He is an assistant professor in Ashutosh College, Kolkata. He wants to ask something. Dr. Gupta.
Thank you. I first must tell that not still I am Dr. Gupta. I am Mr. Shubhadeep Gupta, and I'm just going to submit my thesis, whatever may be. Sir, I first congratulate you for such a informative lecture for us today. But I am working with a project in West Bengal on environmental flow of North Bengal River in Himalayan Foothills River. So that is only also based on the e-flow. I know, I think, sir, it's a new area, new horizon where no such data has already been generated for in state level as well as government level, as you have already said. My question is there any platform is ready for us, for the academic people, where the people is said about the academia and industry convergence for the future days of research? Is there any planning for you as a government administrator? I want to say you, is there any platform is ready for us, the people who are work together for the development of our country? that is number one question for me. And number two, as we are crossing a big a extended period of lockdown, we have already seen that experience that the nature is healing herself. So the water quality has already been a little bit of modified condition. The water quality has been rejuvenated. As I say, the water quality is better from the previous lockdown period. So nature is healing herself. So what is your observation about that? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Two things, three things. One thing on e-flow, I agree. I'm very happy that you are working on e-flow, because we are trying to know more such people who are working, because as you rightly said, not many people, not much work has happened on e-flow, and it's an evolving area. Some few months back, we had organized a workshop with the help of GIZ and India European Union Water Partnership. E-flow is one of the criteria, one of the topic we have added. And we had lots of international experts came, and then we are trying to develop some framework. So I think we'll be very happy to know about your work also, plus also put you across to some of these international experts under that India EU water partnership they are working with us. So that's certainly very welcome thing, because as I told you, we are working on Yamuna, we are working on Ramganga with the help of IIT Kanpur and IIT Roorkee and WWF and other people. So but the number of rivers and the small river, plus the framework for the perennial river and framework for seasonal river of e-flow, there will be a lot of differences. So that's one thing. Another thing which you said very right is about academics and business, how they can come on one platform. What we have done after we had this consortium of IIT and all those things, so we have a Center for Ganga Basin Management and Studies. We call it C-Ganga. It's basically in IIT Kanpur. So through that forum, there is a possibility of bringing such kind of dialogue. In fact, lots of international technology, etc., they come. We are basically sending them for waiting there. C-Ganga does not mean only IIT Kanpur. They work with many other IITs and many other institutions. So that's one forum, because we know this is a gap. In many other countries, especially in USA and all that, the universities and business and industry, there is a very good industry, academy, and government. In fact, people go from one area to another area and work. So that kind of very smooth transition is there, which is certainly lacking here. Maybe in future that will improve. But certainly in Ganga Mission, we are trying to do something on that front. Water quality, you very rightly said that water quality has improved. And I was also seeing some other questions or some lockdown officially in many places already unlock one has started. See, primarily we have to understand that lockdown, certainly water quality is better, and then the nature has rejuvenated, whether it's water or air quality. But that cannot be a solution. You cannot remove human beings out of the equation. And they were not removed. If you look at, they were very much there in their home. They were locked down. I mean, they were there. So sewage generation and those kind of problems were already there, and they were taken care of. If these STPs, if these things would not have worked, then perhaps the condition of river would have been better. It would have been worse. Flow also was good. So we have to look at some of the things. Again, it proves what is the theory. You have to increase flow, you have to reduce pollution. So this time what has happened in many of these rivers, I mean, continuously some rain kept on happening and agriculture was not requiring so much of water. But anyway, lesson to be taken, in my opinion, is number one, it is possible to rejuvenate a river because river has shown it. People used to tell me that Ganga kabhi bhi saaf nahi hogi. You can never see a clean Ganga. You can never see a clean Yamuna. Even Yamuna in Delhi also is looking much better, which is in very, very bad condition. So it is possible, but what we have to do is we will have to regulate ourselves, because the moment people go and throw all kinds of garbage, even if water quality is not so bad, look becomes very bad, because the whole area looks so dirty, and then the moment an area is dirty, more and more people will throw garbage. Then it becomes more dirty, more and more dirty. So I think the lesson for us is this: industrial pollution is a major lesson I mentioned also. Perhaps we will have to come up with some sort of policy or some sort of guideline where the compliance of the industry, because often I have seen industry will, the inspectors and then the regulatory authorities say industry is complying. But the water body in that area, if you go and look at the BOD or the condition of the health of water body in the vicinity of the industry is not so good. So how it happens? So we have to have some sort of a doctrine where we have to link industry's compliance with the status of the water body in the vicinity. So I think these are some of the things which is perhaps to be learned from this experience of lockdown, and we are actually trying to do something on that. We are working with CPCB on some of these norms.
So that it is very clear, sir, that it is not possible for government to do all and every possibility or plan for reviving this river. So people participation and academic participation may be a essential thing to do. So through this platform like today, we must come together to solve this problem in future. Thank you, sir.
I would like to, and Dr. Gupta, Shubhodip Da, I would like to share one thing to you, that last few days back we have done our webinar, that is the Innovation Challenge webinar after the COVID. And very soon we're going to start another webinar on Innovation Challenge in Water Resource Management. So I would like to everybody invite you, and as I said, that I have sent the feedback form there. We got collected all the, please fill this feedback form to us, because all the mail IDs will be connected, and I will send the results or our next brochure. So in that case, Namani Ganga, that is the NMCG, has also lots of work. And I must tell you, sir, what I'm telling about the cultural mapping regarding, and right now what I'm feeling that it is the time to convert the river into the economy. That is the river economy concept and river entrepreneurship model, which SIAD is right now working on that particular field, and we are preparing a project proposal. Mostly, this is the birthplace. I think you have heard the name about the river, Panihati or Peneti. This is the riverside, small village in riverside area, which was my birthplace. And there is a lots of cultural assimilations, different temples, architectural patterns, and lots of. But these, if we can calculate, marginal, point out these types of small spots along the Ganga basin, and these spots can be individually a part of entrepreneurship model. And through tourism, either tourism or different business models can be developed through it. And we are right now working proposal on that particular point. Yeah, how a river network, it can be converted into the entrepreneurship model. So very soon I will go to talk to you regarding this matter. And now I'm coming to the Vandana Taneja, madam. Madam, you want to ask something?
Thank you very much. I'm basically Mahendra Taneja.
Okay.
Sorry for because I attend this webinar because there was some problem with my mail ID, so I could not able to attend with my mail ID.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm really thankful to Mr. Mishra for all the inputs which he has shared, and this is very important to know us that these are the progress which is going on. I'm basically briefing out few things. I'm basically lead auditor of Environment 14,000. I'm a person from the manufacturing industry also. So I have one question basically linked to our hilly areas. I'm traveling in the hilly areas since last 10 years, and I reach up to Mana also. You know, because everybody knows that start is. So I'm seeing lot of changes in river Gange from last 10 years. So my input is that we are going to develop the tourism in Uttarakhand in a lot way. And I know that the population which is there in the Uttarakhand, we know that is a hilly area, and they have very small requirement. But on the other hand, as soon as we are increasing the tourism, the external people are reaching there, and it is really disturbing the environment. So my question is basically, it is the real requirement that only with the tourism we can save out the Uttarakhand, or there are other way also that we can save the Uttarakhand income part. My input is basically there are a lot of things. We are getting the water from the hilly areas, right? That is a big resource through which we are serving the countries. I mean to say we are taking the electricity, we are taking lot of things from the hilly stations. Can't we protect them in such a way that we can give some privilege to them? We can save them so that they should not depend on the income of mainly the tourism. Because if anyone is depending on the tourism income, definitely there will be a disturbance in the some kind of environment policies and all this. So this is one question which is linked to total environment. And another question is very, very simple. Everything start from the basically concept, and at the end of the question come to link to income, right? So as as we are all agree that the income currently we are spending a lot of money on the Namami Gange and all this, but after few years, what will be the basically income sources through which basically this STP plants and other will operate? Because this is a direct vendor management system. I mean to say everything will it's basically outsourced, and the people will work only when they will get the money. So this is the another question which is totally linked to economy part. I'm really appreciating your efforts, sir, first of all, but these are very small question which I feel that I should ask from you.
No, I think these are small questions, but actually they are quite the impact is quite big. And
Thank you.
two things, the tourism. I mean, we deal with this problem, Uttarakhand. In fact, in always government or in the system, someone wants more tourism, more facilities. We always said that perhaps the carrying capacity of the area has to be thought of. I will give an example of Bhutan. Bhutan is also very beautiful country, and then I have been there. I have traveled the entire thing for some sort of. I went there long time back as a kind of trainer to train civil servants in Bhutan, and they have such a kind of discipline that they won't allow beyond a particular number. Though tourism is important for their economy also. Unfortunately, we have still not got that discipline. So if you look at the summer season, typically either in Himachal or in Uttarakhand, we are really putting too much of burden on the natural resources. Drinking water problem was there in Simla last year. So I think we have to have, that's why when I said that Earth Ganga thing last I have said is evolving, but there we are trying to do a kind of sustainability. What could be the other source of income for the state? So that they don't say that we have nothing. See, I mean, we always have a kind of issue with the Uttarakhand because this is tourism and then hydroelectric projects. Now with the e-flow and all that, they say that you are taking away some of these hydroelectric projects viability. But we said when the river will be there, then only these projects will run. So river is more important. You will have to
Exactly right, sir. Exactly right.
have to adjust with this. Some people have gone, one or two promoters have gone to court also, but I don't think they will get anything out of it. But we are firm on that. Then new projects also, new hydroelectric projects also, there is a kind of formally, I mean, no new projects are coming up, though there are almost 40 projects were there in the pipeline. So now think from the state's point of view, they say that we are losing revenue. Tourism, you say ecotourism, don't take more people. So it's a problem from their perspective. I did not think from their perspective, but as a kind of overall policy maker, I am just telling it's not such an easy thing. But yes, there could be a lot of possibility to increase income. Medicinal plantation at a commercial level, at a higher level, if we do it, will save ecology and it will also help the state for revenue. So when we look at this Earth Ganga thing, that high level committee and Vice Chairman Niti Aayog and all that, we are going to actually address these things. They are long-term issues. We'll have to address them. Nothing will happen immediately in 6 months or 1 year, but these issues, these policy issues will be flagged there. So certainly they will they will be important area where we'll have to look at that. So this is a kind of issue which is not very simple, but this has to be addressed, and then we would be trying to do that. And forget second question, what was there? Second issue.
So it was a normal question. Basically, it was more important linked to economy. Basically, when we are spending something on the infra.
I got it. I will tell you. No, you are right, because see, Namami Gange, as I told you, instead of centrally sponsored, it was taken as a central sector scheme. So at present, we are actually footing entire 100% of the money. Earlier, it was 70%, 30% state. So in a way, you can say it is not a very progressive thing that you are taking more of the load. But it was thought that at least for some time we need to do it, because for this 30% money from a state, we realized that several projects got delayed for 3 years, 4 years, because that 15%, 15 crore is not being released. So in a kind of war footing, these projects were taken up, and we brought this hybrid annuity thing also, so that private sector also brings. Now we are actually looking at the reuse very seriously, and whether it is sludge or treated wastewater, and revenue stream has to be developed. So we are working on that, because in the long run, some revenue stream actually STP should actually run its own operation. At least that much of cost should come, and Government of India need not pay. So I think we are working on that. Dinapur is Varanasi, 140 MLD, one plant is there. For that, power generation to run that plant, almost 70% generation is coming from the plant itself. So we have one example where actually it will not be drawing power from the grid there very soon, the moment we reach the capacity. So we'll have to think of revenue stream, we'll have to think of, and that is where we have to develop market for these byproducts of STP, whether it is sludge or whether it is treated wastewater or even from the industry. So these byproducts, a kind of circular economy we have to think, and we'll have to develop some value out of them.
Sir, I will interrupt in between. If you remember statement of our Home Minister earlier, Mr. Rajnath ji, he was very much keen to put the plant linked to bottling plant, water bottling plant near to the Ganga rivers. So I mean to say these are the few inputs which is linked to income generations. So I mean to say these are the area where first focus can be there. I does not mean that it should not be first initially 10 year it will be okay, or maybe first 5 year it will be okay. But after that, as soon as the funding will be down, everything will be goes down, and again the situation will be come back, which is at the current stage. I mean to say STP plant was earlier also there. As an environmental leaders, I'm also seeing from last 10 years, all these were existing, but on the other hand, due to lot of reason, these again got shut down and all this. So this is my input, sir. Thank you very much for your all information which you have shared with us. And we will really want to associate with you for all kind of support for your projects.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to request Rahul Sharma, please ask your question very shortly, because we don't have any interviews. That is quite. Rahul Sharma ji, please raise your hand. Otherwise, we will go to Tushar. Yeah, Rahul Sharma, please.
Sir, very good evening to all. Actually, मेरा छोटा सा सवाल था कि जो बड़ी-बड़ी फैक्ट्रीज हैं और ये जो वेस्ट सर जो डिस्पोज करते हैं नदी में, गंगा में या यमुना में, तो उसके लिए सर कुछ गवर्नमेंट की नॉर्म्स होती है और ये लोग फॉलो नहीं करते हैं, तो उसके लिए सर क्या मतलब ये है, अगर चीज ठीक हो जाए तो शायद हमारी जो गंगा का जो इतना सारा हम लोग पैसा खर्च कर रहे हैं उसमें बहुत सारा समय भी जा रहा है।
देखिए
तो सर इसके लिए मुझे सर आपसे थोड़ा सा आपकी कमेंट्स चाहिए।
नहीं, ये आपने बिल्कुल सही प्रश्न उठाया है, क्योंकि देखिए नॉर्म्स और रूल्स तो बड़े स्ट्रिक्ट हैं और कई फैक्ट्री को बंद भी किया जाता है, बट वो कंप्लायंस दिखा के फिर वो खुल जाते हैं। और देखिए इसमें समस्या क्या है, दो तरह की समस्या है। एक तो इंडस्ट्री को अपने आप रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेनी चाहिए कि जिस एरिया में आप काम कर रहे हैं, डोंट किल द वाटर बॉडी एंड डोंट किल वाटर देयर। वो जब तक नहीं होता है, इन्फोर्समेंट हैज टू बी देयर मोर स्ट्रिक्ट। अब उसमें क्या है, हम लोगों ने क्या कोशिश की कि वी ट्राई टू इन्वॉल्व एकेडमिक्स, IIT, NIT, ऐसे कई लोगों को हमने वहां पे इन्वेंट्री बना के भेजा। उससे थोड़ा फर्क पड़ा, क्योंकि वो लोग लोकल लोग नहीं है, लोकल अधिकारी की तरह से नहीं है, तो उससे वी गॉट सम कंट्रोल। एक ऑनलाइन इफ्लुएंट क्वालिटी मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम भी लगाया गया है कि ऑनलाइन भी देख ले। बट एज यू नो, पीपल आर वेरी वेरी इनोवेटिव, दे फाइंड सम वे टू स्टिल मिसयूज दीज अपॉर्चुनिटीज। एंड वो हमें अभी बड़ा क्लियरली लॉकडाउन के टाइम में पता भी चल गया है, क्योंकि इंडस्ट्री ही एक बंद थी, बाकी चीजें थी, मतलब तो कुछ ना कुछ तो इसमें हमको और करना चाहिए। इन्फोर्समेंट के जो ऐसे पेनाल्टी वगैरह के लॉ तो बड़ा क्लियर है और काफी स्ट्रिंजेंट पेनाल्टी दिया भी जा सकता है। हमारे अलावा NGT के नोटिस में आता है तो वो भी पेनाल्टी लगाते हैं। मतलब सेंट्रल पॉल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड हो या स्टेट पॉल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड हो, वो सबके पास पेनाल्टी के पावर हैं। और हम भी अब अपने यहाँ से कहीं कहीं, हम इतनी जगह तो नहीं भेज सकते, बट कहीं कहीं हमारे पास कंप्लेन आता तो हम भी अपनी टीम भेजने की कोशिश करते हैं। उस टीम में भी कई बार हम एकेडमिक इंस्टीट्यूशन से रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि कोई साइंटिस्ट हमारे साथ चले जाए, तो ज्यादा उसकी एक इंडिपेंडेंस भी रहती है। और हमारे पास भी मिशन में, हमारा मिशन बेसिकली ऐसा नहीं है कि हमारे पास हजारों लोग काम कर रहे हैं, छोटा मिशन है, लेकिन हमारे पार्टनरशिप बहुत हैं, इसलिए हम इस तरह से पार्टनर्स के द्वारा बहुत सारा काम करवाते हैं। कई बार लोग इच्छा से कर देते हैं, कई बार कहीं पे हमको कुछ पेमेंट करना पड़ता है, तो वो जो भी है वो हमारा वो पूरा है। बट यस, इसमें बहुत कुछ और करने की जरूरत है और टेक्नोलॉजी भी इम्प्रूव करने की जरूरत है। कई बार हमने देखा है कि अच्छी टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोसेस करते हैं ना इंडस्ट्री में, उस पर भी हम काम कर रहे हैं चार्टर बना के। उससे भी क्या है, पॉल्यूटेड वाटर का जनरेशन ही कम हो जाता है। अब उसमें कई बार इकोनॉमिक्स का भी इशू आता है कि अच्छा टेक्नोलॉजी है तो महंगा हो जाएगा, वो कहाँ से आएगा। जैसे मैंने बताया CETP वगैरह है, हमने 75% उसमें पैसा दिया है, केवल 25% इंडस्ट्री एसोसिएशन से मांगा है टू एक्सपेडाइट कि कुछ उसमें से काम हो जाए। बट यस, आई मीन दिस इज एन एरिया where continuously we have to work.
हेलो, हाँ सर, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और सर मैं भाभा परमाणु अनुसंधान केंद्र में कार्यरत हूँ। सर हमारा डिपार्टमेंट भी इसके लिए बड़ा इसमें काम कर रहा है, बड़ा इनका सहयोग है। तो सर कहीं ना कहीं आप उनके टच में भी आए होंगे, तो मुझे आशा है कि सर हमारे डिपार्टमेंट से अगर कुछ हेल्प चाहिए या सर तो जरूर सर बताइए। मैं आपका बहुत आभारी हूँ सर, आपने मुझे आंसर दिया। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
So thank you. And last question, very shortly, to Tushar Gupta ji, District Project Manager, I think from Navaniganj. Please, Tushar Gupta ji.
हेलो हेलो हेलो, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू डीजी सर, आपने इतना ज़्यादा नॉलेज इस प्रेजेंटेशन में हम लोगों को दी है, जिससे कि हमारा जो नमामि गंगे का प्रोजेक्ट है उसमें हम लोगों को काफ़ी हेल्प मिलेगी इसमें आगे रन करने के लिए। और मेरा एक सजेशन है कि क्यों ना एक टोल फ्री नंबर सर बना दिया जाए, जिससे कि काफ़ी लोगों की क्वारीज हैं वो डायरेक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को तक नहीं पहुंच पाती हैं, डायरेक्ट हम तक भी नहीं पहुंच पाती हैं, तो वो डायरेक्ट उन पे हमारा फीडबैक भी दे सकते हैं जो उनके यहाँ अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही हैं। जैसे कि मेरठ में सर हस्तिनापुर है, हस्तिनापुर काफ़ी फेमस है हमारे ट्रेडिशन कल्चर के लिए भी, और उसके थोड़ी सी आगे जो गंगा घाटे हैं वहाँ पे लोगों को थोड़ी बहुत प्रॉब्लम आती है, जैसे डॉल्फिन्स हैं अभी तो दिख रही हैं अनपॉल्यूटेड वे में, बट जब पोल्यूशन फिर से शुरू हो जाएगा गंगा के अंदर इंडस्ट्रीज का, वो वापस वहाँ से फिर निकल जाती हैं, बहुत गायब हो जाती हैं, दिखने को नहीं मिलती। तो हम टूरिज्म के हिसाब से भी थोड़ा सा वहाँ पे डेवलप करने का मेरा एक प्लान है सर वहाँ पे, कि जब हस्तिनापुर तक टूरिस्ट आते ही हैं दूर दूर से, तो क्यों ना आगे तक जाएं, जिससे कि उनकी इकोनॉमिकली की भी एक एडवांटेज उनको मिल पाए। और सेकंड सर टोल फ्री हो जाएगा तो सर उसमें काफ़ी सर्वल जो क्वारीज हैं वो हम उसको हैंडल कर पाएंगे काफ़ी, और एक ऐप बन जाए सर, जैसे और भी ऐप बनते हैं, अगर एक ऐप बन जाए तो सर उसमें काफ़ी जो सर्वल डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं जो नमामि गंगे प्रोजेक्ट के साथ काम कर रहे हैं वो उसमें भी कनेक्ट होके अपने अपने वे को एक पब्लिक तक पहुंचा सकते हैं, उससे भी काफ़ी नॉलेज मिल जाएगी। जैसे बायोडाइवर्सिटी के लिए वर्क हो रहा है या जो भी हो रहा है वो हो जाए। और सर सेकेंडली पब्लिक पार्टिसिपेशन इज द मेन प्रोसेस फॉर गंगा रेजुविनेशन। जब तक पब्लिक का भी सोशल बिहेवियर नहीं चेंज होगा, वो जब तक काफ़ी एफर्ट्स हमें करने पड़ेंगे। उसके लिए सर आपकी गाइडेंस में, आपके इंस्पायरेशंस में टाइम टू टाइम हम कर भी रहे हैं, लाइक प्रीवियसली गंगा क्वेस्ट में भी सर आपकी आशीर्वाद में भी हमने काफ़ी उसमें तक पहुंचाया है, काफ़ी स्कूल कॉलेजेस तक भी पहुंचाया है। इस जैसे हम कंपटीशन और क्विज अगर करते रहेंगे तो सर इससे थैंक यू सर मैं आपको फिर कहना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि सर इस छोटे से प्रयास की वजह से ड्यूरिंग ड्यूरेशन जो थी 1 से 2 मंथ्स, इसमें हम काफ़ी लोगों तक कनेक्ट हो पाए, काफ़ी कॉलेजेस तक, काफ़ी एनसीसी एनएसएस के पार्टिसिपेशन भी इसमें रहा, वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा एक्साइटेड भी रहे। और थोड़ा सा वो ये भी चाहते हैं कि इस तरीके की क्विज उनके कॉलेजों में भी इंडिविजुअली भी कराई जाए।
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Tushar ji. I think thank you for your suggestions. And I would like to, on behalf of SciArt, I would like to request everybody, please fill up your feedback form, send back to us. And once more, I would like to give a special thanks to Mananiya Rajiv Ranjan Misra sir for giving a wonderful lecture here. And it's really, I am locked down by hearing your lecture also. Hope in future I will also get your assistance. And very shortly I am coming back to you because on behalf of SciArt we have taken one another initiative. I would like to just share you that we have opened another news portal. We are going to open another news portal through YouTube, which will be completely an academic and intellectual news portal in India, and where no political and entertainment, Tollywood, Bollywood, no will be there. Only academic discussions, even different government activities. Suppose your department or other department, whatever activities you have done, we will also show through this news channel in future. So hopefully it will come very soon, and in the next month I have a I'm trying to do that. So Piyush ji, one more, my friend, please, thanks to you for your kind support, and Jyoti ji, thanks to you, and all the participants who have joined with us to this event. I'm like to thank you very much, and expect your positive feedback, regarding this, and you also suggest what kind of initiatives we have to taken through this Sunday webinar on SIR. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, all participants. तो सर आपको मैं अलग से बात कर लूंगा आपसे, so don't bother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, all of you, and be in touch. I will put this presentation on National Mission for Clean Ganga website, so you can download. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
For this very informative session, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Very informative and important session. Thank you very much.
Very important.
So hope you like it. Sunday Web Knowledge Sunday.
Manage project.